Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to walk you through the process of installing Xcode on your Mac and starting up a C++ project. So to begin with, obviously we need to install Xcode. So I'm going to go to the App Store for that and we'll search for Xcode and Xcode Developer Tools. This is what we want. So we'll go ahead and click this button here. In my case, I've started the process before, so this may look slightly different for you. It may say something like get, like we see here. But since I've installed it before, it's giving me a slightly different icon, but this is the area you're going to be clicking. So we'll click to install that. I'll go ahead and speed up the video so that you don't have to sit here and watch this progress bar. All right, well that took a hot minute, but finally here we are. So I have the option of launching the IDE straight from the App Store here. I could click this open button, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to go through the process of launching it the way I normally would. So I'm going to hit search here and we'll type Xcode and you'll see the app start to launch here. I'm going to go ahead and right click on this, select options and say keep in dock, because this is something I plan on using in the future quite a bit. And we'll give it a minute to start up. We've got some license stuff to agree to, and you need to give your password as part of this process. Okay, and then at this point we need to select the platforms that we want to develop for. Okay, and I'm not going to be doing anything with watchOS or tvOS. I do some iOS development and macOS, and those are selected. Those are also built in, but I could select these others. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to go with the standards here. So after all that waiting, you get to install some additional components. It'll be worth it in the end. And finally, we're about ready. All right, so what's new in Xcode? So we've got some news things we can look at here. We're just going to click continue. So now we have the option to create a new project, or if we had existing projects that we've been working on, they'd be listed over here in the recent projects pane. So I'm going to click create a new project. Now at this point we have multiple options. Our purpose is simply to create a C++ project, a program that could be executed from the command line. And so to select that, we'll go to Mac OS, and you'll notice we have this command line tool option here. So we'll click on that, and we'll say next. At this point, we need to give our product a name. I'm just going to call it Simple Hello World. And we can add teams and a team and so forth. I'm not going to do that at this point. It asks us to provide an organization identifier, so if you have a URL, then you can use that here in reverse URL format, so the com comes first and then the rest of it and so forth. This, again, can be your existing URL. If you don't have one, you can just kind of make something up for now. It's not going to be the end of the world, but if you are actually trying to develop a product that you want to release, like for instance through the App Store, then you are going to need to have a valid organization identifier and so forth there. The language we want, I've selected C++. That's what we're after, so we'll hit next at this point. Okay, and then we need to decide where we want to put this. I'm going to leave this as the desktop for now. I'm not intending on keeping this project. It's just for demonstration purposes. You should decide on a more reasonable place to store your projects on your own machine. We have the option of creating a Git repo with our project. I'm not going to do that at this time. Again, this is just a demonstration project, but if you're familiar with version control and how powerful and useful it is, then you'd want to leave that checked and go through the process of setting that up. For now, again, I'm just going to uncheck that and hit create. And so here we are now with our Simple Hello World project ready to go. Now, again, just for the purposes of a simple demo, I want to show you that you'll notice that over here in the project pane on the left, we can see the source files associated with our project, and if we double click on it, then we can actually see the source code for our program. And currently it simply says hello world, though I can make it say whatever I want, obviously. You're the programmer, you're in control. The next question you probably have is, well, then how do I actually interact with this thing? Well, if we click this button up here, then it will build. You got a compiler when you install the IDE as expected, and then execute your code. Now, it's kind of hard to see it because there's no output window visible, but if you notice down here along the bottom, there is actually a window waiting for us, and there it finally popped up. That is showing the output of our program as well as its exit status. Okay, so if at some point that doesn't seem to be available to you, you'll note this button here that you can click to expand or compress that. So if it's not coming up, just find the button and hit it. It's within this little terminal window also that we can do input. So for instance, if we said, hello Frank, enter a number, and we'll go ahead and create a variable called number, and read a value into it. So now you'll note that when we run our program, it's actually asking us for a number, and you'll notice the cursor blinking so that I can type. I hit enter, and now the program finished and exited. All right, those are the basics for getting Xcode installed and creating and interacting with a C++ project. Good luck.